Hello, 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 hello. Let's make sure that my audio is good here. Good morning, everybody. We're going to get started in about 1 minute. Got a good topic to talk about today. This is actually a learning moment since we have most people's first exposure to cryptocurrency and the Bitcoin market. So we're gonna address a couple of things in a second. This is a learning moment. I love it. I love it. It's also a buyer's moment right now as well. Opportunity is in the air. So good morning, everybody. This is a Wednesday morning in September. We're almost at the halfway mark of the month of September. See how fast time flies? You know, we only got like less than about 110 days left for the rest of the year to end out 2017 strong. And for those of you that have gotten yourselves positioned in the crypto world, you are in a very good position still as one of the early birds in the cryptocurrency space. So let's address a couple of things. You know, you've got to really take emotions out when you're dealing with the markets. And that's exactly what cryptocurrency is. It's the markets. You got to take emotion out, because if you deal with emotions, we have been on an emotional roller coaster for the past, I would say, 60 days with cryptocurrencies. I remember not too long ago where people were jumping out of their shoes because Bitcoin crossed $3,000. I remember when people panicked when it dropped to $1,800 in June. You know, I remember when Bitcoin was $700. I remember hearing about Bitcoin crash when it was at $400. So one thing that I see, you got to follow the trends. That Bitcoin in its 10-year career has always gone up and down, up and down, up and down. But every time it goes down, that's not a crash. That's a correction. Because what happens is, when it starts to gain popularity, you have a lot of investors that come in and they buy. And when it reaches a certain predetermined amount for themselves, they then will turn around and sell to make a profit. And then you've got all the big boys sell, and it drops a bit. And when it drops, what happens is those people who couldn't afford to buy the Bitcoin when it was at its high now jump into the market because they can afford it. And then you have another buy take place. Only this time it's higher than the last previous high. And then same process happens. They start to sell to get their profit. Bitcoin price drops. The new people who were like, man, I wish I could get some Bitcoin now that it drops. They turn around and they start to buy because it's at a lower price. And it's like a boomerang effect. But when you pull back the graph, and I got to figure out, I got to connect my Zoom to my Facebook Live so I can actually do some screen sharing with you guys. But when you zoom out and look at the big picture, you'll notice that Bitcoin has been doing nothing but going up. Even though right now it's at its lowest point in maybe 3 weeks, it's still higher than it was, 2 months ago. 38.41. I remember when it hit about $3,800, everyone was screaming, it's about to hit 4,000. It's about to hit 4,000. Oh my gosh. What's up, Ryan? I see you. So I want to address a couple of things on why, because that's what the people ask me. Why did it drop after it hit $5,000? Well, it's the same reason on why did it drop to like $1,200 4 or 5 months ago after it was close to 2,000. One thing that happened back in that time was somebody named Mark Cuban. You guys know who Mark Cuban is, right? The billionaire, owner of the Dallas Mavericks. He has his own reality TV show, Shark Tank and all that stuff. Mark Cuban was not a believer of Bitcoin. Mark Cuban, in fact, was running his mouth calling it a bubble. And when he made it, I think it was John McAfee did an interview. And Mark Cuban responded to that interview, called John McAfee crazy and that it was a bubble. As soon as he did that, the market dropped because investors feared the backlash of what Mark Cuban said. They sold off. And then it rebounded. And then Mark Cuban, a month later, turns around and backs a $20 million business ICO for some business in Bitcoin. And then comes out and says, maybe it's time I readjust my portfolio to make sure I'm including Bitcoin. 30 days later. Well, two things happened in the span of a week that has impacted the Bitcoin market. Two things took place. Number one, China. And I spoke about this last week, about China and Russia, two communist nations that are using cryptocurrency because of its decentralized nature to wrestle control of the world global financial market away from Washington control to get away from the US dollar. They're embracing cryptocurrency to the effect that Russia is looking at having a state crypto called like the ruble or whatever. They're also creating the largest mining farm of Ethereum in the world, where more than 30% of all Ethereum mining will come out of Russia. China, more than 40% of all cryptocurrency movement is coming out of China, or Asia for that matter. So they have huge control over it. However, it also presents a problem for them. As they are using cryptocurrency to declare independence from the United States so that they can avoid sanctions, their citizens are using and exercising cryptocurrency and its decentralized nature as a way to wrestle control from their own government so that they can have financial independence and freedom. Well, that creates a dichotomy for a communist nation, who by their very definition is government control of everything. How can you, in one hand, talk about how great cryptocurrency is so that you can get away from control of the West and Western banks, but at the same time try to figure out how to inhibit your own citizens from taking advantage of cryptocurrency? It's a fine line they got to walk. Here's what Russia did. At the same time as Russia is creating the largest mining farm in the world, they're also banning their own citizens from being able to do private mining. Government control. China, at the same time as they want to have their own cryptocurrency control and wrestle it away from the West, they need to stifle their own citizens' ability to really jump into the cryptocurrency space, because they don't need the government anymore if you got the cryptocurrency. So China, since they control more than 40% of the cryptocurrency, what China has done is attempt to discourage, whether it be by official, unofficial, or just rumors, that they're going to ban all ICOs in China. They're going to regulate it. Now, that in and of itself may not be such a bad thing, because there are plenty of scam ICOs out there that are taking people's money. But the real reason why they're doing it, again, is for control. It's control. And that scared the market. That's when it really dropped down from the 5,000 to about 4,400, 4,500. But then we got a double dose. You've got a gentleman. I call him that. The CEO of JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, the billionaire CEO of America's biggest bank, came out with a statement basically calling Bitcoin not a bubble, but a scam and a fraud. This is one of the most successful bankers in the world. Let's not forget that he also helped bring about the financial collapse of 2008 that he got bailed out for. But when somebody like him makes a statement, the world listens. Not only did he say that, He also threatened to fire any of his own traders that are engaged in the cryptocurrency space. This is after just last month, executives within JP Morgan were talking about that Bitcoin cannot be ignored, cryptocurrency cannot be ignored, and that you should start adding it to your portfolio. Here he comes, throwing a monkey wrench in the whole doggone thing. Now, he also made one sentence that delegitimizes everything he said, and it also exposed him to his own ignorance. What he said that negated everything was that it eventually will get closed. That one statement right there goes to show he knows absolutely nothing about the cryptocurrency space and was probably making a knee-jerk reaction to billions of dollars leaving the traditional investment market and being moved into cryptocurrency. He did a knee-jerk reaction. Somebody probably put a microphone in his face. He starts running his mouth when he should have shut up. Why is that one statement delegitimize everything he had to say? It's because if he understood Bitcoin, it cannot be closed. It cannot be shut down. There's no Bitcoin office. There's no Bitcoin CEO. There's no Bitcoin company. There's no Bitcoin computer. You don't even know who created Bitcoin. You just have a name, Satoshi Nakamoto, who wrote a white paper, and the nerds of the world jumped on it. The simple fact that he doesn't understand that, you guys know more about cryptocurrency than he does. But because of his position and status, it had an impact on the market. And Kathy, you're right. He doesn't understand blockchain. See, what he failed to also mention is the technology that Bitcoin is based on. It's not about Bitcoin. It's not about cryptocurrency. The technology is the blockchain that they're riding on. That ain't going anywhere. He has no clue. So Richard Branson needs to sit down with him, who's been having a blockchain summit for the last 3 years with other billionaires and Silicon Valley people at his private Necker Island. So you have a gentleman who doesn't understand Bitcoin at all, who thinks that it can just be closed down, but he also happens to be one of the most successful bankers in the world and the CEO of JP Morgan and a billionaire. So when he makes a statement, all of the top investors quickly, and rightfully so, I might add, sold to make a profit. This is also forcing a correction of the market. And this is a good time to buy. Because following his statement was another statement by a former JP Morgan executive. And let me get his name real quick. In fact, I'm going to read you this article because this is amazing. Listen to this. Shut the F up about Bitcoin, former JP Morgan executive tells CEO Jamie Dimon. Earlier this week, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon received harsh criticism from the cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and finance communities for his baseless comments on Bitcoin. Dimon's, am I saying his name right? Dimon or Dimon? I don't know. I'll call him Diamonds. Dimon's internal Bitcoin trading ban caused even more controversy as he threatened to fire any trader within JP Morgan that had been trading Bitcoin. And Angel, you're right, the time to buy is now. It has been quite evident that many traders in JP Morgan remain optimistic toward Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market. In August, for instance, JP Morgan analyst Robert Borogerde wrote, with the value nearly $120 billion, it's getting harder for institutional investors to ignore cryptocurrencies. There are currently over 800 cryptocurrencies out there, though just 9 have a market cap in excess of $1 billion. Since 2015, Dimon has continuously disregarded Bitcoin as a currency and a store of value, taking a different approach from other major multi-billion-dollar investment banks such as Goldman Sachs and Fidelity Investments that have embraced Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, including Ethereum. You know, this kind of reminds me of the whole blockbuster mentality when it came to Netflix. Blockbuster was the top dog at the time. Couldn't be touched. Hollywood Video was kind of hanging on their coattails. They had an opportunity to invest in and take over Netflix. And you had a guy like Diamond sitting on the board for Blockbuster and turn their nose up to it, while competitors were jumping on it. You think you learn history can teach you some lessons. Anyways, in previous coverages, CryptoCoins News explained in detail as to why Bitcoin cannot be described as a bubble. Bitcoin markets are well regulated and have matured significantly over the past 3 years. Bitcoin has a daily trading volume of over $2 billion, and its price increase has been met by almost every regional Bitcoin exchange market. In essence, Bitcoin is not a bubble because Bitcoin's price surge has not been led by the fundamentals of the asset and driven by exuberant market behavior. Bitcoin is not being driven by the market. It's being driven by the technology called blockchain, in other words. He doesn't get this. That's why the richest man in the world, Bill Gates, said Bitcoin cannot be stopped. But in his latest interview at NBC, Diamond did not describe Bitcoin as a bubble. He claimed that Bitcoin is a fraud and that he would recklessly fire any trader that is involved in Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market. This is like a tiger with its back against the wall, bringing out its claws. He's going to try to force his way. I don't believe in it, and I'm going to force any employee of mine that gets into it. What? In his response, analysts and experts outside of the cryptocurrency industry, such as Alex Gurevich, former JP Morgan executive and head global macro, told Diamond, "Jamie, you're a great boss and the greatest of all time bank CEO. You're not a trader or a tech entrepreneur. Please shut the F up about trading Bitcoin." Other experts within the Bitcoin sector, including Bitcoin core Peter Todd, who are also shocked by Diamond's baseless and illogical comments on Bitcoin, criticized Diamond for his lack of knowledge in the asset class. Hey Jamie, next time you want to write something about how awful Bitcoin is, let me ghostwrite it. I can do a much better job than you. In his statement, Todd emphasized a comment made by Diamond which read, "Eventually, Bitcoin will be closed." It has been evident for the past 8 years that Bitcoin cannot be closed or shut down by centralized entities due to its decentralized and distributed nature. Its global ecosystem of miners and node operators specifically prevent the closure of the network from occurring. Former Facebook executive and managing partner at Full Tilt Capital, Anthony Pompliano, also criticized Diamond for the fraudulent activities JP Morgan has been convicted of. The bank CEO, Jamie Dimon, who had to pay $13 billion for causing the housing crisis, just called Bitcoin a fraud. "I've literally seen it all," said Pompliano, referring to the $13 billion fine imposed by U.S. financial regulators over fraudulent mortgages. Many analysts and experts suggest that Diamond had made such comments on Bitcoin to protect JP Morgan's ongoing blockchain development, research, and operations. Okay. Let's follow the money. That last sentence right there may show Diamond really isn't a fool at all. Diamond is playing market manipulation right here. His own company is creating blockchain development, and nothing happens without the CEO knowing about it. Notice he didn't say anything about blockchain. He didn't call blockchain a fraud. He's targeting Bitcoin. He's manipulating the price. I wouldn't be surprised if he turns around and drops a couple of million more into Bitcoin in his own self. Most of these billionaires are putting 1% of their wealth into cryptocurrencies. This is classic. I wouldn't be surprised if Mark Cuban didn't do the same exact thing. Mark Cuban doesn't make decisions and change his mind on social media. Everything is targeted because he knows any word he says can affect his own businesses and his own stocks. Don't be fooled by these billionaires out there. They're playing us. They're playing us. However, we can play the game now as well, because guess what? With Bitcoin currently right now at 39.24, Ethereum has dropped to 27,272. Buy. Buy, and hold. This is a great time to make a whole lot of money. This is not the sky is falling. This is a correction. You can go to my Facebook page and scroll down a couple of tabs and you'll see I have a graph and a chart that shows that every time it went down, people screamed crash, and it's crashed all the way up to $5,000. It's going to crash. You know, this new correction, when it goes back up, it might hit 7,000 in the next 60 days. It always comes up higher than the previous high. Now's the time to buy. But I'm more than just buying. I believe in playing the market. This is a trader's dream right now. People say, how can what you guys are doing, 1%, 2%, 3% interest a day, how's that possible? Because the market is swinging so violently in either direction. Whether the market goes up or down, we still get paid. So it's not just about buying and holding. It's allowing your money to work for you. That's what we're doing. But as Bitcoin rises, so one of our investments we have, I think it averaged, correct me if I'm wrong, Christian Little, I think it was 0.54% the last 6 days? It was 0.54%, which is still a huge return. Before that, it was about 1.2, 1.3% on our money. So if you are still brand new and you know nothing about cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin or blockchain, I'm going to tell you what to do. And I'm going to give this to you for free. First thing you do is go to Netflix and pull up Banking on Bitcoin. Go to Netflix and pull up Banking on Bitcoin. Number 2, go to YouTube and look up documentaries on cryptocurrency and the blockchain. If you need or want more structure because you don't have the time to do any of the searches yourself, go to teachmecrypto.net. www.teachmecrypto.net. The next thing you want to do is open up a Bitcoin wallet. If you haven't done so, every single person in the world eventually will have a Bitcoin wallet. It's like PayPal. If you have a PayPal account, it should be easy for you to set up a Bitcoin wallet account. If you don't know where to go to do that, you can go to bitcoinivey.com. That's my last name, bitcoinivey.com. And then the final thing to do is make your money work for you. Earn daily on your money without having to recruit anybody. See, I've been saying it all week long. Cryptocurrency is not MLM. It is not about recruiting. The number one money earner in our group hasn't recruited a single person. Let money work for you. Go to bitcoinbrandon.com. bitcoinbrandon.com. But that is the news today. It is not in a crash. It is in a market correction. And this is the time to buy. Buy. And then hold on to it. And if you're smart, you'll let it work for you to make even more money. We get paid every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, this is happening whether you like it or not, whether you believe in it or not, whether you think it's a scam or not. Your opinion is irrelevant. And you're going to be forced to be a part of this, whether you like it or not, one way or another. If you're working a 9-to-5 job, your business is going to give you the option to be able to buy, get paid in Bitcoin. You're going to see Bitcoin ATM machines all over the place. If you're in a network marketing company, I guarantee within the next 6 to 12 months, your company is going to tell you that we're either giving you the option or we're only accepting payments through Bitcoin and paying out commissions in Bitcoin. I've been a corporate executive. It makes sense. You're saving a whole lot of money and heartache by doing that. So that's it, guys. That's the news for today. Bitcoin is in a correction, not a crash. See me later on this evening for late night crypto talk. We're going to talk about everybody's getting paid in crypto. The only people not getting paid in crypto are the people that's just looking at it and taking no action whatsoever. Have a great day, everybody. Brandon Ivey, Bitcoin Brandon, out. Bye-bye.